Welcome back to another Old World Fanatics video. It's myself, Gomo, here with Andrew. We had to do some breaking news here straight off our podcast from last night. We've got some very exciting news from Games Workshop.
And the Arcane Journal from the night before.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, that's true.
Keeps coming.
Well, this isn't 9 o'clock at night our time, though, which is a little bit more bearable. But yeah, I'm assuming this is not new to people, but it was a pleasant surprise this morning waking up in Australia time anyway to the news that we are getting the match play guide, which has been rumored since, geez, when? I think people were saying it was coming in January. That's what was quite funny. But and we just got that one little FAQ that took the pillars off the sisters. That was about it. And that was but now we're getting, it looks like we're finally getting not only this, but just obviously the FAQ and errata stuff. So, well, Andrew, let's go through. What are we getting? They're basically saying, yep, can't believe it's been 18 months. 9 factions have been returned, new Arcane Journals, figures, all that sort of stuff, plus the arrival of Cathay coming. So they're basically saying, look, they've seen it. It's thriving tournament scene. I like hearing that. But with that in mind, the design team's created a match play guide providing comprehensive information for anyone running or attending events. So cool. I like it. It's very old worldish, very in theme. I don't know if there's any other like Easter eggs in the actual cover or not. I'm not sure. I brought this up like a bit bigger. But yeah, we'd have to go back and look at that. I only just did that, so I wasn't actually looking too hard at it. Yeah. I mean, overall, we don't know too much about it, but we do know that it's going to cover fairly similar what 40K and AOS do with open war, grand melee, combined arms. What do you think? Oh no, that's composition. Sorry, I was getting confused with matched play. Oh no, do you reckon that is it? That's the similar thing, like open war, grand melee would be bigger. Combined arms is maybe stuff with allies. Is it something like that? You know how like you have narrative play, what's it called? Open play and match play in AOS.
Then like in the contents, because I was trying to work that out because combined arms, but then I had like
I'll bring that
an alliance of warlords as well, and I was a little bit unsure of the 3 different types of the compositions.
Yeah, and they do 3 pages of
for each one.
Rules on that. Probably, that's what I was thinking. And then when you look at these, there is this doubles event stuff in there as well, and then Alliance of Warlords. So I'm wondering if, I mean, I haven't listened to other people. Maybe there's a lot of people talking about this on YouTube who know a lot more than us. But open war, grand melee, combined arms. Combined arms just feels like to me that it's, there's doubles and how to play with multiple people and potentially all more ally-based stuff. And then open war. I mean, could grand melee literally be what we play in open wars, like take whatever you want? Would they ever do that? I can't see them doing that with this game. I'm
not sure. I was almost thinking down the line of like maybe they're just different restrictions for you got more of like an open one, and then like your grand melee and combined arms could be like,
well, it does say that slightly different restrictions on characters. I mean, it is all match play, I guess. So I'm probably just jumping too far down the gun there.
No, but you could be right. Like there could be like restrictions, because if you got doubles, you're going to want to have additional restrictions as well, aren't you?
Yeah, so, like I was. I wonder if one of them is literally the same as the normal rule book, and then they're trying to like tighten it back a bit with like grand melee. Is that sort of saying, hey, like it's going to be more infantry based, so we're going to like crank down the characters or something like that. It's probably similar to that. I wonder how they'll do that with Arcane Journals. Just trying to think. Actually, is any Arcane Journals not 50% characters? I don't think so. It's only core and rare that seems to move around a bit. So maybe they can just like make blanket changes. That'd be cool. Anyway, so well, we are getting 3 lots of composition, so that will be interesting to see. and
Yeah.
then 6 match play scenarios, and then optional secondary objectives and secret objectives, which is very interesting. So yeah,
Oh, awesome.
let's have a look through this. So Hail to the Victor, I guess that's just talking about, yeah, it's probably a preamble. Valor before dishonor. Do you reckon? So do you reckon that's 4 pages of what we've been chatting about the last couple of weeks about don't be a dick when you're playing?
I'm hoping so. I hope they do put a bit. It would be nice if they kind of put it down on paper a bit without it
Yeah.
being so like, you
Well,
know,
you've talked about that, hey? Like, it'd be nice if we
yeah,
just knew how things were gonna work at a TO level. Oh, sorry, tournament level. You know,
yeah,
are you allowed to take like, yeah, what does it mean to touch a unit or not? You know, that type of thing.
yeah, yeah. I think there is definitely room, even in a like more competitive environment, to be a little bit gracious with your opponents. Like it
Yeah.
is complex game. There's rules all over the shop. I know everyone's like, oh, you got a rule book, but there is it. There are a lot of rules. So
100%. And yeah, and
mm,
unless you're playing all the time, competitively all the time, you're gonna forget stuff all the time. Like, that's
yeah,
just how it works. It's so complicated. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, yeah, well, I'm actually liking that it's not just one paragraph like it is in the main book, and it's 4
yeah,
pages. So it'd be very interesting if it's related to that. Again, I'm not sure.
yes,
Um, organizing an event. So we have like, you know, whatever that is, 55 pages of scoring. So probably I would imagine going through like win loss draw 20-0 type systems, how you
yeah.
can do that sort of stuff. I like that. Clarifying victory points and ranking, how to actually
Rankings.
yeah, I know. I
Reckon
saw
that's
that
one of
rank. I was like, what are they gonna do? Now, for
yeah,
you who don't know, they actually did no, they didn't. They didn't contact me. No, I'm assuming that's like ranking in the tournament. So it'd be
yeah.
interesting to see what they do.
Gomo's
They
now
haven't
working for
mentioned.
GW.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be nice if it got a call out in this, but
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
yeah. And then you got the army composition. So I'm assuming, like you said, 3 pages and 3 different ways. So hopefully it's 13, 14,
Yeah.
15 is each of those types. That's going to be the very interesting one because really that's the main issue with the game.
Mm.
It's just composition. There's a few things that are probably a bit wonky points wise, but nothing that comp can't at least, you know,
Oh,
address
yeah,
a lot
you're
of the
always
times.
gonna have that to a degree, but
Yeah.
I think if you took, like you're saying, that the composition back a bit, it would even out stuff substantially, I think.
Yeah.
The power of certain builds and armies.
Yeah. No, it's good. I can't wait to hopefully that leaks sooner rather than later. That'd be really
Mm.
cool.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm more excited for this and what we're going to talk about soon,
Yeah, exactly.
almost
Yeah.
than the arcane journals that have been just flying out
No,
flying
yeah,
out the window.
100%. Yeah. Field of battles, 1 page on that. I'm not, I mean, maybe it's to do with terrain. I don't know, or layouts or whatever.
That would be nice. A good terrain. Like I don't mind what they've got currently, but
Mm.
maybe that and maybe just a
Maybe it's
bit around.
defining stuff like it has
Yeah.
to be a certain, can't be bigger than X, Y, Z, or you know what I mean, that type
Mm.
of thing. Maybe
The simpler
seems,
things to cover as well would be nice. I don't know if they'll
yeah,
touch that.
1 page. It seems a bit light
Mm.
on. So I'm not sure unless it's
Yeah,
just
true.
stuff about, you know, like it could be 6 to 7, or maybe you don't have to, you know, not put anything in the middle, and I don't know. They might have
Yeah.
things. Match play scenarios. So talking about the actual stats, like how to win it, but then obviously 6 new scenarios, and they look
Mm.
interesting. So upon the field of glory, it's probably winning something outright by killing things, or I don't know, banners, or I don't know. But I don't know what you thought
Yeah.
of that one is. Be interesting. Probably could have gone back and looked at all the different scenarios and all the different editions. You'll probably find some of these types
Yeah.
potentially. King of the Hill. Obviously, we used to play that at Castle all the time. If
Yeah.
it's similar, you know, put a hill in the middle and see what
In the
happens.
middle. Yeah. Get in there.
Drawn battle lines. Not sure. Any ideas on any of these? Obviously, close quarters sounds a little bit like, you know, you're right up on each other.
Yeah, yeah. A real tight, 12 inches or something away.
Yeah. Chance
Yeah.
encounter sounds like. Well, I hope it's not like they've already got this, I guess. But you know how you had Dawn Attack, where it was like
Yeah.
it's just all random
So,
stuff.
yeah, random.
Interesting if Chance encounter was a little bit like Josh's ambush thing last night
Oh,
on our
yeah.
podcast. Well, that's probably more encirclement, actually. That'd be
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I just hope with these scenarios that they did think about how long it takes to set up and organize.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes when you've got so much stuff going on and especially like you got to, you know, move terrain around, and all of a sudden you got like, you know, you're measuring out all your deployment zone. It can take a bit of time.
It's a good point, and these need to be done in a way that they can play on any type of layout. I wonder, see, just one page doesn't get it for me. It's a bit confusing, but a field of battle, it would be nice if, you know, would they ever go back to something like here's 3 different layouts, you know, that type of thing. But maybe it doesn't feel like there's enough room in that contents to do that.
Yeah, that would be nice, but like, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Like you can mix it up a bit. Not, yeah,
But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how these match play scenarios work and if tournaments just, because this is the match play guide, if they just end up using these, which would be totally different to usual. Because like having
yeah,
encirclement, which I'm assuming is, you know, you're pretty much in the middle of the table,
yeah,
maybe, or at least on all 3 sides, someone can get you.
yeah.
It's a massive change.
I reckon that the next bit could be huge. Look at how many pages there are there.
That's almost half the book. Secondary objectives and doubles, obviously. Yeah, like that's what 8 pages on secondaries.
Yeah,
Do you reckon they'll? Oh, they didn't say this. I would have thought they would bring out a deck if it's going to be something as big as say 40K. So I doubt it's that. But yes, just having
nah. It would be nice
secondary
being
ones.
thematic, like not
Yeah.
just, you know, oh, because it's fantasy. So, you know, you're like, oh, you know, the old, you know, there could be a something you're protecting, or like a card, or, you know, like something a bit more fantasy based, rather than just
Yeah.
like go here and random point B, or, you know,
Yeah, I know. It'd
have
be
a
good if
reason for it.
exactly. Thematic
Yeah,
would be good. And obviously they mentioned secondary and secret. So I'm assuming in that is that, oh no, secrets are down there. Additional rules.
mm,
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. No, I think so I mean, even if it's secondary, they would just be things that, and I would assume, do you think each army, like the opposing armies would have different secondary objectives?
ooh,
Or do you reckon they'd all be playing the same secondary, do you think?
I don't
I don't know.
know. That's a good concept, actually.
So that's a little bit like 40K and OS, isn't it? Where you can get your own
Yeah.
secondary, which would be interesting. Then, yeah, additional rules. I'll just jump the other thing in a minute because, yeah, obviously secret objective sounds fun too.
Mm,
Um, I mean, it's just throwing a spanner in the whole works. It's kind of crazy, and especially how that might tie in with scoring. Like,
yeah.
you know, how big is some of these objective stuff? If you're playing win, loss, draw, is it just,
Yeah.
you know, helping you tie break, or is it actually 20-0, giving you 5 of the 20s objective based?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Um, and then you've got, yeah, doubles events, a double envelop, forward battle lines, and the old outpost. I mean, it's cool. Like, I'd be interested to try some of these things and how it works in a doubles
Yeah.
environment. 2 people on
Yeah.
the table. What do you reckon Alliance of Warlords is? 4 pages.
I don't know. That's just trying to work it out. I'm like, is that allies? I'm not sure. I was trying to work
Something
that
to do
out.
with the
Or is like, how does it
combined.
work when you got like multiple players? But to me, that's going to be just in your standard doubles events, because you got what, 2
Unless
pages before your first scenario.
teams, like an actual teams event talking about how to
Yeah.
do pairing across 3, 4, 5 players, and that's an Alliance of
Yeah.
Warlords. It might be, because it probably does need a few pages to describe how something like a teams would run.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe it's that.
Yeah. No, it could. Yeah. It's very it's intriguing.
Mm.
Very intriguing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's 48 pages, so same size as the Arcane Journal. And I mean, that's pretty beefy for
It's good.
just this type of discussion. You know, it's not even getting into the I mean, it's got the army composition. So I'm assuming, so it's saying slightly different restrictions on characters and units. I think you'll see things like, yeah, playing around with the character percentage, potentially rules of 3, or like reducing
Mm.
rare, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Um, Trying to think what else you could do. Because you, in that 3 pages, you're not like listing all the armies and changing around their composition. It's going to be at a very high level.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, like maybe with the points allowances as well, like, you know, for smaller event. Oh, I'm not sure. There's so many.
Well, maybe one of them is that, like, it's smaller open wars, smaller Grammarly's
Yeah,
UK, something like that. Yeah, it could be that. Um, yeah. Nah, cool. Man, cannot wait till this comes out. Oh, here it is. A section on doubles, including rules for composition, alliance scenarios, potential contradictions. Like, well, there's a detailed guidance for running team events and escalation events. Okay, so do you reckon that's what would escalation be? Would that be under Alliance of Warlords? Maybe it
yeah,
is. Okay, cool.
that would be really good.
Mm.
The escalation, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, no, I
Great for
like it.
growing,
Wait,
you know, growing growing the hobby within your local sort of scene.
yeah. This is really the first. Maybe I'm wrong here. It feels like this is the first time we're going to see something so structured and supported for fantasy.
Mm.
There was the General's Compendium. Was that anything like this? Probably not. Not really. In sixth,
Uh,
seventh, whatever it was.
oh yeah, I haven't. I think I briefly looked at it ages ago. I couldn't. It'd be hard for me to draw from that now.
Yeah,
But it does
but
look very like compared to obviously they've been doing this a lot, like you said, with Age of Sigma and 40K. So I'm hoping they've leveraged off some of that experience from doing that previously and worked out what works good. And then obviously not just a carbon copy because they're completely different game systems.
yeah, yeah,
So it would be good if they've sort of like taken, bits from that and learnt from that, and then obviously done a good job of it, porting it into the fantasy old world environment.
yeah, yeah. Because it is going to be different. It's not. It's yeah. It's not as agile this game. So it's,
Mm.
yeah, and like we're not getting
That's
the
why I
updates
like
as
it.
much,
Yeah.
which is good. Like
Yeah, because at the moment, like how it is a little bit Hero Hammer, and there's so much skirmish. It is smaller, lot of flyers. Like it would be
yeah,
good if within this rule system it does take it back to more traditional Warhammer.
yeah. I mean, hopefully. I mean, obviously, this is not a particularly going to. Oh, well, the army composition will do some of that, a lot of it actually, if you
Yeah.
do bring down the hero hammer. But there's obviously the next thing coming up here. Will hopefully, smash it even further into
Mm.
back to rank and flank. So we've got the Warhammer the Old World Match Play Guide is a one-stop shop for all your competitive and match play needs. It's slated for pre-orders fairly soon. I love how it's like fairly soon. What is that? Like that's basically saying it might not be. I don't know. Did you take that as a really soon thing or um
I'm
because
hoping
you
it's
had
a
it?
couple of weeks. Like I
Yeah,
really am.
wow. Because that's yeah. And will be available software by EPUB. And it'll land alongside a new FAQ and Errata document, which brings a few targeted changes to the rules of the game. We'll have more on that from the rules dragon soon. I wonder,
Can't wait.
do you reckon we might see, uh, because now these rumors have leaked, we might get like an almanac rules dragon interview thing hinting at some of the changes before we get this?
Ooh, ooh.
Because we'll have more on that from the rules dragon soon. That feels like to me that we're going to get like,
Yeah.
and it might even be this week, maybe like a Warcom article with some of that changes that might be coming. That'd be
Mm.
cool.
And yeah,
Um,
like if they are just throwing this out almost like we are discussing yesterday, like they do have a deadline just to finish and get this out, maybe, yeah, like you said, maybe you're just gonna have this out, almanac out really quick, have this out quick, have the FAQ out quick, and
yeah.
possibly some Eastern armies out
Yeah,
quick.
so we'll talk about that. So we've heard rumors that it's going to be pre-order 20th, 21st of June, something like that. Is that what people are saying? And then out by the 5th of July. So 2-week pre-order.
That's it's soon.
So if that's the case, then what's your gut feel? If they say just pretend that whatever date it is, if it is that, do you think this is also on the same weekend?
I have
I think.
no place commenting on that because what was I saying, like the end of the year or something?
Oh yeah, and I'm just saying yeah,
Completely
I know,
thrown
but
that out.
like yeah.
But
But
now
I
you're
feel
seeing
like
like it could
yeah,
be.
I would not be surprised if this is all in one weekend. Like I don't see the value of them going, oh well, we'll do Cathay one weekend, and then 2 weeks later we're going to
Yeah.
give you a book that you could buy, but you can also just get it in
Mm.
PDF. Um, and you probably need the FAQ errata out before Cathay hits, technically, if you know what I mean,
Good point.
or at least
Yes.
right at the same time.
Yep.
So I don't know. I'm wondering if it's just a Warhammer Old World weekend pre-order, and Cathay's up, and so is the match play guide, because it's not huge. It's not like a massive, um, and it also gives a lot of people something to buy that weekend that aren't going to buy Cathay. So
I'm gonna have to start prepping the wife about the bank account might take a bit of a hit,
a
like
Cathay, or for
just
I don't think the
just all
book
this
here is
stuff
going to be
coming
that
out. Like I
pricey.
think a few people out there are going to be like, oh man, there's so much.
I
Because like
just
you said,
smashed. I smash the PayPal Pay in 4 option all the time. Do you
yeah,
use that?
that's it. Yeah, that's it. Paying for. Worry
Um,
about that next week.
I mean, Cathay for me, I think they're going to be tough to get right from a paint perspective until I see someone like, Stu from Miniature Realms or whatever actually do one of those. Here's how you do it really quick. The
Mm,
quick way of doing it. Because I think some of those ones do a good job. That's fast but good.
yeah, still
But if
looks.
not, for me with
Yeah,
Cathay, I know it's off topic, but I feel like I'm going to buy Cathay, but I don't expect to buy it and get it on the table like straight away. I
yeah.
think so. I think I want to take my time with it. Maybe I don't know. Depends when you look at the rules. You might go, "Oh shit, yeah." I don't know. Do you want to be that person? That's, I don't know.
Oh man, you're still gonna get the basement out. It's just like, oh no,
Yeah, that's
Nick's
right.
Cathay
Yeah,
right on
that's
the
coming
hip.
out too quick, and I don't want to complain
Yeah,
because
I know.
it's freaking
It's
awesome. But
it's so unlike GW. It's like it's weird because like if you're gonna make money, you'd be like, oh, we'll milk it. Like obviously, yeah, they're just trying to get it out. So it's
yeah,
good.
yeah. But like we talked about this just pre hit and record, we got all this right now. It's smashed. There might be pretty much silence for 6 months
Mm,
after this, and I don't think that's even a problem. If we're getting all this, it's going to take a while for stuff to settle in.
yep,
God,
definitely.
if we also get a Southern Realms or something as well, man, what a year!
Yeah, and if they do give you like different options with secondary objectives and secret objectives and different army compositions, it's almost like each region's going to do their own thing, and it might take a while for like there to be like a bit more of
Yeah,
a global consistency of
yep,
for
because
a typical ranked event. Like if you were going to go like the full on competitive events, they might all do like a similar sort of way of we're doing this
yeah,
composition and this secondary objective sort
yeah.
of thing.
Just
Like
plus, like, are you playing those 6 scenarios, or like 5 of those
yeah,
6, or are you using some from the big blue book? Or yeah. No,
yeah,
you're right. Each region's probably going to take a little bit to simmer it down, and I'm assuming the Hail to the Victor section is going to talk about that. This is all a guide, and you can do whatever you want, and all that sort of stuff as well. So it will be,
which is good.
yeah,
Like
no, yeah,
they don't get everything right as we've seen. So I
yeah.
mean, there's I'm not expecting this to be perfect. Like that's why you do have your TO packs and whatnot making adjustments.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. Nah, man, I just want, I want that. Well, I think, what are you more excited for, the FAQ still, or you want to see what this army comp thing and this match play guide thing is? I guess
I feel
both.
like it's a package. It'd be hard to separate because
Yeah,
if you are getting infantry buffs and things like that, like they said within the FAQ, and then that's going to be toning down other things like possibly dragons or monsters, things like that. Coupled with army compositions, like maybe it is that these two work together, to sort of
yeah.
like fix the issues we've been having.
And when
So
you look at the rumors that came out from Jav last week, whatever, that we talked about on the pod last night and also on our paint session,
hmm,
how do you think they align with this really? Like, it seemed like, because he was saying he thinks there's a book, but he wouldn't put it past it just being a soft cover. I think it felt like, now I can't remember the exact word for word of what he had in that post on Discord.
hmm,
I still feel like, I don't know if everyone, and some of the people who are in the know would know, but the other rumor people probably weren't 100% sure if it's just
yeah,
this book and it has everything, or now we know it's the book and the FAQ errata. And I wonder when you take that in context, when you say something like, dragons again, like, you know, the the big dragons, the mounted characters are a problem. Need to buff infantry, like those 4 or 5 things,
Mm,
skirmishes and maybe
yeah,
line hammer stuff like that. It feels like most of that has to. I don't know where each one. How do you attack? Which parts of the match play guide attack that versus
yeah,
the FAQ? Do you know what I mean? Like, because
yeah,
that you can't. You can't rewrite the whole rule book because they're
yeah,
just giving
exactly.
us an FAQ and an errata.
Yeah.
So I wonder what they're errataing, um,
Mm,
to make some of those things. Like, like when we always had the wish list about infantry, we talked about, oh, they should bring step up back, they should do X, Y, Z.
yeah.
I mean, they're only errataing it. So what,
Mm,
like I feel like you could do things like increase rank bonus for infantry, like little things like that, because all you're doing is
yeah.
errataing a table to say that they can get up to +2 or, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know what else you can. It'd be pretty hard unless you had an extensive errata document. So that replaces like all skirmishes. We've talked about this before. You can't really errata skirmishes because
Yeah.
it's littered throughout the rule book a bit.
Yeah, I agree. It will be a little bit hard. Um, and you hope that they don't do a sisters sort of nerf bat, like, just too hard on things,
Yeah,
just to
yeah,
make it that people don't want to bring them, or they're almost, you can't bring them to a certain degree.
yeah.
Like you said, I think what you were alluding to is, hopefully they can just tweak smaller stuff, and they, you know, makes it all usable, workable,
Mm.
and you can bring it, and it doesn't get blown off the table, straight away.
Yeah, that's right. Like I feel like the composition would help with the hero hammer just by the option to bring that right down. Doesn't help infantry as such because all it does
No,
is say, well, now I'll bring more. If I've got better rare or dragons in rare, I'll bring
yeah,
them.
I'll
Um,
bring more cav or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
then if you can bump up infantry a bit through combat rares, but you could do things like, you know, you could errata say the royal peg to be a monstrous creature, and then
mm,
suddenly you've fixed that. Like there would be those type of things that I think hopefully they do, but I can't. I don't know. I can't see them doing like a wholesale. Oh, skirmishes are all going to be like 8th edition
yeah,
now, and like that seems pretty hard. But they
yeah. It
might,
might,
but
might change too much, and you hope it's play tested. They've done some play testing with the changes.
oh yeah, yeah,
You don't want to have a change, and then obviously, it's it's affecting game mechanics drastically, sort of thing.
yeah, yeah. No, it's oh man, we won't have long to go. And I bet you the other prediction I'll make before we close it out is I'm away for a week in a couple of weeks, so it's going to happen
Ooh,
when I'm away. So guarantee. So there you go, guys. Yeah,
indeed. Yeah,
yeah. We'll get a leak on the 20. What is that? The
yeah.
14th, 15th, 16th of June. You'll get a
The
leak
way, isn't it? Yeah,
that week.
it's always
Yeah.
the way.
That's all good. I've got to
I'm
enjoy that
sure.
too.
I'm sure the Mauritian rum will help you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no,
Help
you're right.
ease that
I'll deal with
ease
it.
that
Yeah,
wound.
yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I would probably make a comment is this 18 months. This is we've got another 18 months of old world. This version, I think, like
Yep.
for sure. You know, what I mean, it's a 3 year. There was rumors maybe that we'd get a new version.
Version. Yeah.
I
I
can't
don't need a
see.
version 2. If
Ah,
1.5,
yeah.
brings infantry into the game. I love my infantry. I love blocks. Like, I'm sure you.
Imagine how cool, like, it would settle the game down anyway, and you still got all these arcane journals like Kislev and Southern Realms, but also the option, hopefully, to bring
Yep.
the other guys back as well, and then have all that in there before you go to a second edition.
Yes. Yeah. True.
So,
That would be good.
I'm
It's
pretty
good
happy.
times. I'm happy. As soon as I saw
Very.
this,
It's
I
only
was
the
like,
wallet that's gonna hurt, but that's
yeah,
okay. We'll still do that.
that's it.
Yeah. They always say you can always make more money, so, just
Yep,
get out there.
that's it.
Okay,
Uh,
well, do you wanna wrap it up? We've got kid duties to do, so
yeah, yeah. No,
hopefully people appreciate a quick hot take on that. It was half an hour, not too long. I just wanted to get something out. So
Yep.
I'm assuming maybe we'll be back this week if indeed the rules dragon appears as well. So yeah,
Yeah,
thanks.
and if
Leave us.
anyone's heard any other rumors or have some good points, yeah, definitely comment because we love seeing people's takes on these and other people's, rumors. So
Yeah, they're probably a
comment
lot of
away.
time plugged into the ecosystem more than us if they're over on the other side of the pond.
Mm,
So yeah,
yes.
really appreciate it, everyone. Yeah, as usual, like, subscribe, leave some comments, jump over onto our Patreon if you want. And if we don't see you this week, we'll definitely be seeing you on our podcast next week and chat more
Yep.
about this and whatever else comes out. See you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.